Look, if the only identity Canada has is holding on to Quebec, then it should fall prey to anything.
I am confident that Quebecers will continue to reject separatism because they still believe that their destiny is linked with an indivisible Canada.
Quebec is distinct, so is Ontario. You can't be distinct from somebody without somebody being distinct from you, can you?
Well, I agree. Achieving independence for democratic means, there would resort to violence, which I don't think was particularly new, but I think your comment after it was, I thought was new from your own attitudes towards it. You felt that, as I recall, that this would be reasonable, which I don't recall you having saying before. Have you changed your opinion about the use of violence in achieving independence?
No. I don't know where the hell you got the change of attitude.
Well, I don't know. This is why I'm asking. Has there been?
Well, no. No, I think it's silly. And I think both it's, in a sense, potentially criminal all the time to use violence as long as you can freely try and do it in a democratic way. And apart from that, it's politically stupid in our context. And yet, you can't help seeing that it's happening, can you? Now, I think a few years from now, somewhere around the second American centennial, in other words, around the 1975, 76, you know, after one more election or thereabouts in Quebec, if something doesn't break politically, I'm rather awfully afraid that something is going to break otherwise. That's all.
What net results from that?
Look, the moment that things would go really bad, who the hell knows what net results are going to come out of it? I don't know. I'm no prophet.
The federal government always is more protective of violence at its disposal.
As things are now, yes. But that brings us back to the, I think from our point of view, necessity of having a political decision in Quebec. Because violence would only, look, violence is like a sort of circle. Violence answers violence. Take the October-November thing. You know, it was so quick and so easy and so incredibly ridiculous for the federal government and yet so understandable to use the two kidnappings and blow it up out of all proportions and, you know, make it a sort of martial law setup, which now looks more and more ridiculous all the time and rather dishonorable in spite of so many people being conned on it, you know, throughout the country, saying, Trudeau is acting. He wasn't acting, he was overkilling, but with very definite reasons and rather devious purposes. It was easy. And yet it was justified, at least for a while, because there was violence, small as it was and very well contained. But it was so easy to blow it up out of all proportion, and since Canadian democracy is a hell of a lot frailer than a lot of patronizing Canadians thought, it went by the board so quick, it made your head spin. So our only out, decent out, is a political decision. But then, if Quebec votes, supposing Quebec votes out, then let them call out the army and see what happens. Then it's different. Well, find out in due course. Among other things, I had a little run-in personally with Mr. MacDonald, I think his name is, the defense minister, saying that there were quite a few separatists in the armed forces. In fact, the place is loaded with separatists in all Quebec units, our party members. We keep our lists rather well protected. Those guys will come out for things like happened in October. They did. Why not? They won't be bulldozed by a few terrorists. But supposing their vote is a majority vote, and Don MacDonald or any other jerk tells them you're going to come out against your own vote, what do you think you'd do?
mean the federal government won't be able to trust
There won't be any armed forces left in Quebec except on a Quebec basis of any substance in that case. So,
you don't feel ill at ease, Mr. Levesque, you don't feel ill at ease sitting in front of the Queen?
pardon me?
You don't feel ill at ease sitting in front of the Queen?
No, I have great respect for the Queen.
Would the monarchy have any role at all in your...
You joking? Why? I mean, what have we got? I've got great respect for the Queen because she's the Queen of Great Britain, and Great Britain is a respectable country. But what the hell part should monarchy have in Quebec? And as far as that goes, what kind of part has it got in Canada except a sort of folkloric...
The way it stands in Quebec now, economically feasible. The way Quebec becomes what happens to the rest of Canada? How do you see the maintenance of the...
The only possible out, honestly, would be for a new arrangement that we've been proposing and among business people, especially in the higher circles of business, where they have a sort of pan-Canadian outlook. I think, even though not a single one of them will ever come out and say so in public for the moment, he doesn't want to get shot. I think they know damn well that's the only way out for them, too. You know, on a going-on basis, there has to be an arrangement with Quebec. We think the basic outline should be a customs union, or a common market, if you like, and trying to reach some agreement on common monetary institutions, as long as they're not played around with unilaterally, as has been done by the Trudeau government on the anti-inflation thing, which literally was beating down, well, letting Quebec go down the drain along with the Maritimes for quite some time, as long as it didn't hurt Ontario too much or other people. In other words, monetary, like other major tools of economic management, should not be used the way traditionally they've been used in Canada, which was mostly to favor Ontario. But that being said, there's the possibility of having a common monetary institution, as long as there is respect for, you know, trying to equalize priorities. That's more delicate. On the other hand, the common market idea is very simple. It doesn't, you know, require any kind of genius or world-shaking imagination. A lot of countries that had a hell of a lot more problems than we would have, like Germans and French that have been at each other's throats for over 100 years in 3 major wars, are in a common market. So except if we very much over-dramatize ourselves, there's no reason why it shouldn't happen. If that happens, then Canada can go on, you know, without any major problem, except maybe readapting psychologically and politically to a new setup, that's all.
You don't think it would make the rest of Canada more likely to fall prey to American...
Look, if the only identity Canada has is holding on to Quebec, then it should fall prey to anything.
If there's any give by the federal government, it will have to be traded against give by the provinces. And if they don't play that game, then Canada's finished.